Here in this moment, the concentration of I and releasing the indoctrination of the false am, the persecution of finding out what goals really matter to you, making decisive choices towards those goals, following your dharma, your duty, your purpose, your calling, but accentuating the authenticity to bring in the energy of attraction within the magnetism of your denser energies, the subtle bodies, the inner manifestation of expression within your own reality gives you the sense of well-being. So this means that you are not looking at a gate that has a brick wall around it. You're looking at a gate with the brick wall broken down. So it just seems very tall. It seems like you don't have the keys to unlock it. But once we kind of see that the rainbow is above us and it's showing us like what we can really attune to, then we set our sights and see the contrast of heaven and hell all the time. But this means that we are the tigress that stands on the crescent moon as a balancing of light and dark energies, looking up at the crown that it's been placed on our heads, a symbol and symbolic of a halo above us. So the keys that we open within ourselves are the energetic centers and the 33 degrees of energy that accumulate over time. Spiritual mass is encompassing the light body. The sentient I is the manifestation of all life, and then am is the proclamation and the declaring of free will, the willingness to be free. But I am that which I am. I am because you are, because I am, and we create that luck and will it into existence. This is the energy of luck, but it's also what you're feeding your spirit most of the time. So when we come into this connection of like what it is that we're meant to do, it's your ability to remember who you are and calling back your power. So what this entails is how you're channeling, how you are bending reality with your manipulative energies. Manipulating the energy around you helps you timeline shift. So quantum leaping into the unknown gives you a very profound gift of esoteric sacred wisdom and geometry. You see that all life and all life within the static field comes from 0-point creation, and then the heart of awareness and the light of awareness being made realized. So this is the transversing from third density to sixth densities, and this is why the I is the soul and the spirit. The soul and the spirit is one. The mind-body-spirit complex, the mind-body-soul. And so this means that you are different variations of the higher self. So there's different aspects of your higher self. But what this entails is the migration and the sacred ceremony of how you manifest all the time. So this is when the pentagram is upright. This is where you see your alignment, you see your goals, you see your visions, you see the things that are sacred to you, and then you go for it. So this means that you're in the energy of the triangle. This means the pillar of ascension that you're coming into, the two pillars. The checkerboard floors gives you a sense of understanding who you are and what you're playing within the interconnectedness of all things. And then you have a talisman. You wear this as you wear and address who you are, meaning you walk with certainty, you walk with poise, grace, and eloquence. So this means that the pendulum is who you actually are. The pendulum swings, but this also means that it rotates. It swings forward, it swings back. This is a distinction of how we tap into energies of reading into insight. But without foresight, we don't have anything that is tangible in what we're channeling and what we're discussing. So this means that you will find ways to open up energetic centers. So this means that you can visualize anything that you'd like. That's how you're able to grasp it and see it. But the spontaneous combustion, the psychic atomic energy, within the electromagnetic kinetic source energies that stand on its own axis, that stand on its own dimensional ley line, is the purity that we're all seeking within ourselves. So this means that we are placing ourselves in a formlessness. So this is the sentient I, the I of Horus, the all-foreseeing I, the grand architect of the universe. And then this means bliss, never-ending bliss, but also being raised to perdition, an apprentice, a magician that stops and feeds the soul and the spirit of nourishment. Nourishment, the divine feminine, gives back to the hunger that it's longing for and connecting to. So, in this moment, the Philosopher's Stone tells you that you are the tree of life that has all of the knowledge within the soul and the spirit's intuition. So every time that we channel something, we're opening a portal of apprenticeship, of initiation, of ceremony, of sacred rites. So some of you have even experienced the rites of Chod. The rites of Chod meaning that you had to have a severed head, to be a reverend that atoned for their sins, to have the demons eat at your flesh, and then come into a state of non-ego attachment. So this is an enveloping of all forms of enlightenment. So this means that death, pestilence, and famine are already here. We're just eradicating it with honor, integrity, justice, pursuit of enlightenment. So this means that the apocalypse is something that is not that you're waiting for, or Jesus has already entered the building. He's already entered the chat, if you will. That we are the reflection of that because we're God manifested in human form. So once we see that, once we know that, once we attune to that understanding, there's something very sacred and profound in what we can achieve and manifest within our realities. So this means that everything within the spiritual journey, it clears out the energies of being impoverished, the energies of ridicule, the energies of being emasculated, and also having your femininity taken away from you, or your innocence. So you're gaining all of that back and almost becoming childlike, but we have to go through different rites. But this is an ascension of like releasing the bondages of our teachers even. This means that there's a transcendence within the God and the goddess that you're seeking within yourself. The God and the goddess. There's many different forms of God. A lot of you are channeling Odin. A lot of you are channeling Thoth. A lot of you are channeling Mary Magdalene. It doesn't fucking matter, because at the end of the day, it is God, the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, the sun gods, the angels and humans that are on this earth plane, the Nephilim that are giving us an understanding of who we are. But the Pharisees and the heresies are all kind of giving us an understanding of who we actually are. So everything that has happened in every sacred text, in every religious text, has a truth that is symbolic. Odin impaled himself on a tree. Jesus cursed a tree because it didn't bear fruit. That's why there's not a demonization of witchcraft, divination, or channeling, being a medium. But this means that you are just channeling every aspect of God and all of its creation. So this means that truth always stands, and truth supersedes all that choose to seek many different variations of truth. This is why we're not bound anymore, and this is the only reason why people are only living in their deceit, regret, heartache, pain, is because they're not willing to give their life to Source. It's because, like, you shouldn't be sick, you shouldn't have scabs on your face. There have been people before us, Joan of Arc, who have been impaled and placed on a stick to burn because they had gifts. And because they were gifted and because people didn't understand it, there was a persecution. That's why people are trying to find something outside of themselves, because of the persecution of all forms of God. So it doesn't matter which side you're on, we're all working towards a common goal. I love you. This is White Wolf. God bless and namaste.